Well, here we are. It's time for another edition of the Cummins Real Estate Group Show, as it's a Saturday morning with myself, Curtis Pope, and, of course, the star of our show, the one and only Michele Cummins. Good morning, Michele.
Well, I'm seeing stars now, but...
You're seeing stars.
Good morning, Curtis. Are you excited about all the snow? That sounds like it's
Well,
happening.
I mean, are we going to get it? Is it just going to be a dusting and then it melts? I mean, I like it when you get the dusting and it melts right away, that I don't have to shovel.
Well, way to look at the positive of everything.
Well, I lived in the north long enough to know what it's like to have to shovel a lot of snow. And you lived in Montana. You know the same thing.
Yeah, every Halloween night, that's when it snowed. So I always wore an outfit, a costume, because, even as an adult, I like trick-or-treating. I like the candy, right? It's fun, too. You see everyone dressed up. But, yeah, it always snowed that day. So it's no surprise that it's coming our way. Mount Chiem and Baker and everything looks so beautiful and crisp. It's so gorgeous. I love it. But, we had so Halloween day, I had my luncheon, my monthly team meeting, and we did go to a corn maze.
And how did that go? You found your way out anyway.
Yeah, we did. We did. They had two different ones. We went to Green Acres. Green Acres is amazing. I haven't been to any other one to compare, but I went online, Googled and everything, and that seemed like just a great one. Great reviews. So they had two different mazes. So we did the easier, let's say, not so muddier one, and we made it through. And then the harder one had all these questions, and it was so fantastic.
Team building.
It was really interesting to see everyone's personalities and how they came up with the answers, and if they took the shortcuts or if they went the long way around, or it was really awesome.
We sent our kids into an escape room about 4 years ago.
Oh my gosh, I was just going to talk about that.
Yeah, we sent them into an escape room, and me and my wife sat outside. It was an agri-fair, and they went in with two of their friends, and they did really well on the first 2 or 3 tasks and really worked as a team. And then the Pope kids started fighting over everything.
Oh, no.
And the other two were just like, why are we here? Why do we put ourselves through this? They failed. They weren't able to get out.
They didn't get out.
No, because the Pope started infighting.
Oh, no.
I want to do this. No, I think we should do this. No, I want to do this. Should have listened to me. It was Dylan standing there going, should have listened to me. I knew what to do the whole time. Like, just listen to me. Quit ignoring me.
Note to self, don't invite the Pope
Don't
family.
do an escape room with the 3 Pope children. They will not get along well enough to get through.
Oh, that's fun. I always go to escape room with my family when we get together, usually once a year. And we always get out because I'm telling you, I love watching people.
Well, there's 15 of you. I hope you'll be able to figure it out.
That's true. It's always a huge group. You're right. But I was thinking I got to do that with my team. So that's what we're going to do next time. It's going to be so fun because there's one in Abbotsford and there's one in Chilliwack.
I've yet to do one of those, actually. I probably should. But
You haven't?
No.
Okay, I'll invite you.
Oh, great. Now you're going to have a Pope in there arguing with everybody.
We'll have to do it before your road show, though, right? So
Yeah, probably.
Morning.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're doing that. Probably February. I'll throw you the date. I'll Google Calendar you the date.
Sounds good.
So tomorrow I am doing an all-day event. I mean, conferences start now, but it's the end of the year. It's time to, prepare for next year. And, of course, we talked about the economy last time we spoke together, but and today's our stat show, so get excited about that.
Well, I know that I don't have to talk too much this episode. You kind of just take it and run.
Well, there's so much good information.
There is. There's a lot of information to get through in a short amount of time.
It's true. And but tomorrow I'm really excited to go to ARIA's Home Expo 2022. So ARIA is the Asian Real Estate Association of America, and they offer amazing workshops and information. And it's such a great business partnership for my sellers' benefits through exposing my listings to the worldwide members because it is a worldwide membership. And I'm looking forward to learning home buyer and seller resources for the future of real estate. So I'm very excited about that. So that's tomorrow all day, and hence why I am not doing any open houses tomorrow. But next weekend we are, and later today we are doing one at my fantastic Mount Woodside property, where this eagles soar, and it's a beautiful ranch with the most amazing views of the river and the mountains, and it's just gorgeous. It's so peaceful.
It is a beautiful spot. Whenever I drive through there on my way to Harrison or something, I always think, because I know you've had properties there, and I'm like, it'd be a great place to live. It must be really quiet. And this nature surrounding you.
Yeah, and people don't tend to you're out there, you come out there, you love it. brought so many clients out there, and they all love it so much. And then they brought their sisters and their brothers and their kids. Like, people follow people out there. So
and then suddenly you have a bear or a moose in your backyard. You're going, I really am in the country here.
Tis nature.
You probably get the odd animal in your yard, I'm sure.
Yeah. I think birds, lots of different birds. Just amazing. I mean, great blue herons, of course, but I mean, yeah, bear. We definitely get a bear. We had a bobcat a while, but I have not seen him for a while now. But lots, even the odd dog and the odd goat that just kind of
wander off the farms and end up in your yard.
Exactly.
One day you'll have a cow there. Just like,
So,
can we keep it? Can we keep it?
Depends. Is it a dairy cow?
Yeah. You can call it Norman, like in City Slickers.
Oh, cute. So, real estate news. So, MLS Realtor Tours are back, and in Mission, it's every other Thursday. And this coming last Thursday, was the one in Mission. So it's every other Thursday. And then also in Abbotsford, it's the third of every Wednesday. And I love to showcase my listings within the realtor community because I have sold listings due to the realtors previewing it either right before it goes live. So as long as I have a listing signed by my client, they allow it on the tour. And that's tends when I like to put it on because it's like a pre-showing. But it's fantastic. The realtor keeps it, by viewing it, it keeps it top of mind for them. And they think of the clients that they want that would marry perfect with the property. So I love doing it. I'm excited to get that back going and showcase my listings to all the realtors in the different communities. But wanted to mention that. And so the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board, this is another set of news. So you know how some websites for real estate sites have more information than other sites?
Mm-hmm.
So the Realtor.ca, which is the realtor system, the MLS system, it's the main system for real estate listings, we have never had on there sold prices.
Mm-hmm.
Never. But now the board is going to start doing that. So beginning on the 7th of this month, the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board will display historical sale prices on Realtor.ca for residential properties, not commercial though. For all active listings, the previous sale price information will be displayed in cases where a sale took place 1 year or more before its most recent MLS listing date. So now more than ever before, consumers expect transparency. They want information. Give it to me at my fingertips. Like when I advertise in the paper with my listings, I put the price, I put the address, I put the information. It's so hard as a buyer to spend the time having to dig in and put a code into somebody's website and register your email and your name just to get information. And then you get bombarded with calls and emails. But so more information at the buyer's fingertips is what I believe us realtors need to give. And I'm happy that the Real Estate Board has chosen to do that. So they're going to be doing that. Publicly sharing historical pricing data contributes to greater transparency and bolsters the reputation of the trusted trademarks of our profession. So MLS and realtors together. So joining the Real Estate Boards with BC and across Canada, the Fraser Valley Real Estate members will be securing this as leaders in this positive change. So I'm glad our board, because every board can choose to do something different. So our board is doing it. So frequently asked questions regarding that. So why is this happening? So while the public values our MLS system and the guidance and expertise that realtors provide, we as professional organization, we wanted to be transparent and give this information easily over to buyers that could help clients make more informed home and buying decision and selling decisions. So that's the kind of public announcement that the Real Estate Board wanted to make. So another question, does the board have the consent of home buyers and sellers to share this information? Because you wonder privacy, right? But once registered with the LTSA, home sale prices are public information. The privacy notice and consent form, which realtors have clients sign, does include notice that the boards may publish some information, particularly sale information. Clients give consent to this when they sign that required form before they do a listing. Members are encouraged to discuss the details with our clients. They encourage us. And so for the public to know, when you sign paperwork for a listing, there is that notice and consent form. You can opt out of certain things, such as sharing your sales history. So why won't home sale prices be displayed for sales that occurred in the last 12 months or less? According to the Personal Information and Privacy Act, home sale prices are the confidential and personal information of the buyers and sellers. Home sale prices become public information only once the sale is registered with the Land Title and Survey Authority of BC. This process can take several weeks to several months. The 12-month window ensures that transactions are registered with the LTSA before it's shared with the general public. Another question, if my listing was posted on MLS before November 7th, will previous home sale prices still appear on Realtor.ca? And the answer is yes. The sale price information will appear on Realtor.ca even if your listing was active before November 7th. Can I opt out of the having this information displayed with my listings? And as I said before, yes, you can opt out of it. If the clients don't want to make this information available on Realtor.ca, you just opt out on that form that I mentioned when you do the listing. So that is the information on the news front today for real estate local.
All right, a lot of news there and a lot to take in for sure. And interesting that people are going to be able to go back and have a look and see what places went for and get that information at their fingertips.
It's like days on market. It's nice to know how long has this property been on the market. So it's good. There's more information out there.
It's another tool in a toolkit.
Yes, beautifully said.
Sometimes. We'll take a quick break here, of course, and if people want more information about your listings, your open houses, things like that, where do they go?
MichelleCummins.ca.
And we're back with more right after this. Big Group Show with, of course, our local rockstar realtor, Michele Cummins, and myself, just Curtis Pope. I'm not the important one. I don't have the stats.
Just Curtis Pope.
That's right.
Wait, how did just Jack?
Jack. You have all the stats. I mean, you're the star of the show always, but today you have stats. You have all the energy to go through all the stats, as we know, and you will race through 20 minutes of stats in under 10. So,
but don't ask me to replay or re-mention a movie, because a 1.5 hour movie will take me 4 hours to tell you about. It's happened. It's true.
Well, I'd hate to get into Lawrence of Arabia or something with you that's like 3 hours long, because then it would be like 12 hours.
Oh, yeah. Definitely have water bottles on hand.
All right. Well, let's get to these stats, because that's, I know, what people are tuning in for when we have a stat show.
If all I knew is it took stats to be a rock star, gosh, I love that.
There's math in everything, is what my teachers used to tell me as I was failing math.
So this happened on November 2nd. The release of the Fraser Valley real estate statistics. And the headlines read, housing prices remain soft, sales flat throughout the Fraser Valley. Are you surprised?
No. But as somebody who lives here, I wish you could give a silver lining here.
I know. Actually, there is, though. There is.
There is a silver lining.
Actually.
We have to wait for the silver lining.
Yes, you do.
But there is a silver lining.
Mm-hmm. Fraser Valley housing market sales for October remained relatively unchanged from last month as prices dipped slightly across all categories.
Well, we don't mind slightly.
Exactly. At least it's not drastically.
Exactly.
Words mean a lot.
Yes. Slightly means just a little. It could be a real little dip. It could be like nothing.
Exactly.
That's slightly.
And we are going to explore exactly what the slightly means.
Perfect.
In October, the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board processed 901 sales on its MLS system. Seems like a lot, but it is an increase, which is good, of 0.4% compared to last month, and a 53.5% decrease compared to this time last year. Good information. The board received 2,186 new listings in October. That's a decrease of 3.8% compared to September, and on par with October of last year. With a sales to active listings ratio of 16%, that's a little bit of the silver lining, the overall market was again balanced for the fifth straight month after a prolonged seller's market earlier in the year. The market is considered balanced when the sales to active listings ratio is between 12% and 20%. So we are not in a buyer's market, which I know a lot of sellers feel like we are. A lot of realtors may feel like we are, but we aren't. We're in a balanced market.
And we also haven't had that drop that they were projecting for this year. The big drop.
It wasn't as big as they anticipated. Exactly.
Yeah.
So these trends suggest that the market is looking to reestablish equilibrium in the wake of last year's intense activity and in the face of continued interest rates pressures. And this was said by Sandra Benz, our wonderful president of the Fraser Valley Real Estate Board. With sales continuing to lag and new inventory slow to come on stream, we're seeing a holding pattern regarding whether to buy or list a property and expect this to continue through to the year end. Prices continue to soften with month-over-month benchmark prices down slightly, that word slightly, across all property categories. For detached homes, prices are on par with October of last year, while townhouses and apartments are up 7.7% and 11.5% respectively over 2021. With interest rates at their highest level since 2006, it's understandable that buyers and sellers are hesitant. So the average number of days spent on the market right now before selling was relatively unchanged for detached homes and apartments compared to last month. So 34 days and 31 days respectively. Townhouses moved more quickly at 27 days compared to 32 days in September. So now benchmark prices overall in the Fraser Valley for single-family detached homes are currently at $1,436,000, and that's a decrease 1.8% compared to September and a decrease of 0.8% compared to last October, so a year ago. Townhouses are at $809,800. And that is a decrease of 1.5% compared to September and an increase of 7.7% compared to last year. Apartments are at $528,000, and that is a decrease of only 0.5% compared to last month and an increase of 11.5% compared to last year. Of course, condos, apartments are doing the best. Townhouses is second best. And then, of course, detached because obviously what is affordable. Now, let's go into municipality by municipality. And, of course, we start with our own Abbotsford. Detached single-family homes benchmark prices at $1,121,300. That is down from last year by 8.8% and down from month before by 2.5%. And sales are down from last year 54.3%, more than 50% down from last year. And month over month, sales are up 35.9%. So that's how good October was over September in Abbotsford. Townhouses, sales are down from last year 48.4% and also down month over month 27.3%. Prices are at $650,800, and that's up 8.9% from last year, but down 3.7% from last month. Apartments, sales are down 50.5% from last year, but they're up 10.9% from last month. Prices are at $434,800, and that's up from last year, 12.6%, but down month over month by 2.6%. Mission benchmark prices for detached homes are $969,800, and that's down 6% from last year, down 2.4% from last month, down in sales from last year of 59.3%, and down from sales the month before 4%. Townhouses in Mission are at $657,300, and that is up 6.1% from last year, but down 3.3% from last month. Sales are down 68.8% for townhouses compared to last year, and there's been no change month over month there. Apartments, sales are down 83.3% from last year in Mission, and a whopping 75% from the month before. Prices are at $451,900. But prices have gone up year over year for those apartments by 18.8% from last year, but down 2.9% from the month before.
Well, there's a silver lining.
See? You found it.
I'm going to find a couple here, I'm sure.
You are very positive. I love that about you. No matter what, you do see the silver lining in everything.
I try. It works sometimes, but I try.
Mindset, positivity. It's so good. So detached homes in White Rock, South Surrey, benchmark prices at $1,895,900, and that is up 5.8% from last year and only down month before by 0.1%. Sales are down 56.3% from last year, but they're up 36.1% from last month. Townhouses are at $923,000. That's up 6.1% from last year, but down only 0.2% from last month. Sales of townhouses are down 42.1% from last year, but they're up 22.2% from last month. Apartments in White Rock, South Surrey are $578,300. That's up 6.7% from last year and down just 0.8% from last month. Sales are down 39.5% there from last year and up 6.1% from last month. Langley benchmark prices at $1,528,000. That's down 2.4% from last year and down month over month by 1.8%. Sales are down 36.2% from last year and down 17.8% from last month. Townhouses at $852,600. That's up 13.3% from last year, down 2.2% from the month before. Down in sales 52.3% from last year, but up in sales 3.9% from last month. Apartments, $588,900 benchmark price. That is up 12.2% from last year and down 1.8% from last month. Sales are down 51.6% from last year, but they're up 3.3% from last month. And then Delta North. You know, so many people say, Michele, Surrey and Delta, they aren't in the Fraser Valley, but technically they are. At least according to the
Fraser River runs through Delta, right beside Delta, yeah.
There we go.
I mean, you could technically go all the way to Richmond, really. I mean, that's Fraser River surrounds Richmond. It's not really a valley, though.
Yeah, there you go. The difference between the...
It's kind of an island. Yeah. Below sea level island.
On its own. So Delta is benchmark price of $1,273,000, and that's down 4.6% from last year and down 1.9% from last month. And the sales are down 65.9% from last year, and sales are down 26.3% from last month. Townhouses, the sales are up 50% from last year, and they're up, according to the stats, 200% month over month.
Wow.
I think that means there was a new townhouse project that probably sold out.
It would seem like something like that.
200% change.
That's a pretty big anomaly.
Mm-hmm. And benchmark prices are at $846,500. I don't think I mentioned that yet. Up 1.9% from last year, down 3.6% from last month. And apartments at $556,800. That's up 13.7% from last year and up 0.4% from last month. But the sales are down 55.6% from last year and up 60% from last month. And that is your Fraser Valley real estate statistics.
Interesting. Now, I remember when we were talking last year and different people were talking about how prices were going to fall anywhere from, I think, 15% to 40%, some people were predicting. Mm-hmm. And people all panicked. But the majority of people seem to say it was going to be around 18% or so. Where have we roughly come around that? Do you know?
Oh, on average? Do you want to talk about detached or just
Yeah, I guess just detached is probably the easiest one there.
You know, I live by the stats.
You do live by the stats. It's just because everybody was in a bit of a panic when they would hear 40%. I mean, I was in a panic when they said we could drop 40% over the year.
Yeah, that is pretty shocking.
And I know that was definitely people going on the high end of things as opposed to probably the reality of it. But yeah, it was just really interesting because I know we had somebody on last year that even said they figured it would be around 18 to 20%.
Yeah, and you know what? It's really not because the height was in February. So when you look at a year ago, so was that the start of 2022? Is it the start after it corrected in February? Or is it 1 year ago today, November
right.
of last year? So that's the difference. November last year, we're only down 0.8% for detached homes. And 1.5% for townhomes, and then for
it all depends on the timing when people are looking at it.
Absolutely. So that's why it's funny when So the predictions, I believe maybe that was after February. So those predictions, we are still a few months away. We have to wait till February of next year and then really look at it.
But we're not anywhere near 40% for sure.
No.
And we're not, at this point, I don't think we're even close to 20%.
And I think we felt the worst of it already.
Yeah.
We are still declining. And in some areas, it's about $40,000 a month. The average property of a detached home is coming down in price. So let's just call it a $900,000, $1 million, losing about $40,000 a month is kind of the typical what you're seeing. But there's some amazing deals out there. There's some amazing opportunities for buyers right now, and for their sellers, it depends if you're moving in the same area or not. Are you downsizing or upsizing? So it all depends. But you know what? I think we forgot City of Surrey.
Did we?
Yeah, I think so.
You went right to Delta. You skipped Surrey.
I did.
That's a bit of a.
Surrey was on another page.
That's a bit of a geographical error.
Yeah, and I
should have caught that because I'm good at geography.
Yeah, actually, but I was talking so fast. I went from Langley to Delta. Okay, so quickly, City of Surrey. Benchmark prices. Oh, so this is all of Surrey, actually,
Right.
combined. Benchmark, 1,584,000. That's up 2.2% from last year, down 1.7% from the month before. Down in sales, 64.5% from last year, but up 3.2% from September. September. Townhouses are at 828,000. That's up 5.5%, down 0.8% from last month, down 52% in sales from last year, but up 13.2% from last month. And then apartments are at 528,000. That's up 11.2% from last year, up 0.9% from last month, down in sales last year by 49.4%, and down month over month 5.1%. So now that's the Fraser Valley real estate statistics.
There we go. And Surrey's an interesting one because you go from some lower prices in certain areas, still not that low, but then you get to like South Surrey and these big huge mansions and stuff like that. So I mean it's a pretty diverse municipality when it comes to prices.
Absolutely. And that's why you have to really know the sub areas, and it's a huge area and many different types of product. So I wanted to go on to our new listings before, because we've got a couple really amazing ones. There's one, a Chateau Place here in central Abbotsford. It has an amazing suite in it. It has a large, fully fenced backyard. It's almost an 88,000 square foot house. It's 5 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms, built in 1975, renovated so beautifully. And it's $1,182,000 is the asking price. So remember, that has a suite. It's move-in ready. It's a great location at 2129 Chateau Place. And then another new listing here in West Abbotsford off Shuswap Court. And this one is 7,500 square foot lot, 3 bedroom, 3 bathroom, split level type of home. It's priced just under $900,000. It was built in 1982, and its property size or house size is almost 2,800 square feet. And then another one coming on Ireland Avenue in Mission. And this is an old timer built in the 50s, but built so strong and well. And it's so clean, the home. And it's got 2 separate detached triple-sized garages and 2 driveways and potential to subdivide. But it's got beautiful, fully usable land. It's gorgeous, raised garden beds. It's got sheds on top of those garages.
Don't say this too loud. Your husband's going to want it for the garages.
I know. And walk-out basements. And so really nice property. And one of the big things about this property on Ireland Avenue is gorgeous views of the monastery of Westminster Abbey.
Oh, wow.
Gorgeous views of it. So all you hear on this property, it's a quiet street. All you hear are the bells ringing. And you can just take a walk, trails, go up to the lookout point. Go in on Thursdays, I think, and Saturdays. They come out and they just start singing in the beautiful church, and it's just so gorgeous. Like the sound is so beautiful. It moves me to tears every time I go there. But yes, so that's the new listings. Oh, and should we end with a quote?
We should.
Because we normally do. Okay, so be who God made you to be, and you will set the world on fire. And that is St. Catherine of Siena.
I'm glad. For some reason, I thought you were going to say Beyonce. I don't know why her name popped in my head. I'm just like, that's just like something Beyonce would say. Maybe Jenny from the block? No? All right.
You never cease to make me laugh.
No, and my mind works in mysterious ways. All right. If people want information on your listings or your open houses and what you do as a realtor, where can they go?
MichelleCummins.ca.
And join us again next week when we will talk real estate in order to unlock your real estate potential on a show where real estate is maximized. Thanks for listening.